The Adventure of Tom Sawyer, Long Man Simplified English Series, read by Khanittha Srirat. Chapter 3 Joys and Sorrows. Tom stood before Aunt Polly. The soft summer air, the leafy quiet, the scents of the flowers and the sleepy murmur of the bees had their effect, and she was nodding in her armchair. Her spectacles were up on her grey head for safety. She thought that Tom had deserted long ago, and she wondered to see him place himself in her power again in this bold way. "May I go out and pay now, auntie?" he said. "What already? How much have you done?" "It's all done, auntie." "Tom, don't lie to me." "I had right." "I'm not lying, auntie. It is all done." Aunt Polly could hardly believe this, and went out to see for herself. She would have been content to find a quarter of Tom's statement true. When she found the entire fence whitewashed, and not only whitewashed, but carefully coated and recoated, she gazed with astonishment. "Well, I never! I must say you can work when you try, Tom. But it's seldom that you do try. Well, run along and play." She was as astonished at Tom's performance that she took him to the cupboard and picked out the finest apple for him. He danced out into the garden and saw it. In a moment the air was full of lamps of earth. There fell loud 6 years, and before Aunt Polly could come to the resort 6 or 7 had eaten him, and Tom was overfed and grown. There was a gate, but generally he was short of time to make use for it. He was satisfied, saying he had punished Sid for calling attention to the black dress and getting him into the trouble. As he was passing the house where Jeff Teacher lived, he saw a new girl in the garden. She was a lovely little blue-eyed angel with 2 long tails of yellow hair. At once a girl called Amy Lawrence vanished completely out of Tom's heart. He worshipped this new angel till he saw that he had discovered him. Then he pretended that he did not know she was present, and began to act in all sorts of silly boyish ways in order to win her admiration. While he was in the midst of some dangerous tricks, he glanced aside and saw that the little girl was going towards the house. Tom came up to the fence and leaned on it, hoping that she would wait a little longer. Tom sighed as she put her foot on the doorstep, but his face lit up at once, for she drew a lot over the fence just before she disappeared. The boy ran round, picked up his t-shirt, and buttoned it inside his coat next to his heart, or next to his stomach possible, for he was quite sure where the on began and the other end. Although so super he was so great that his aunt wonders why she scolded him for throwing lumps of earth and seed. But he did not seem to mind in the least. Got a tap on his finger and a spoon. "Aunt, you didn't hit sis when he talked sugar," he said. "Well, she doesn't worry me as you do. You would be always stealing sugar if I didn't watch you." She smiled in a self-satisfied way, and when the old lady went to the kitchen and reached for the sugar basin, but her fingers slipped, and the basin dropped and broke. Now it was Tom's turn to smile, but he controlled his tongue and kept silent. He said to himself that he would not say a word, even when his aunt came in, but would sit perfectly still till she asked who had broken the basin. Then he would tell, and it would be delightful to see that model boy get a good beating. He was so wild with joy he could hardly keep still when the old lady came back and stood above and broken price. Looking anxiously over her spectacle, he said to himself, "Now she's going to hit his seat." And surprised to strike again with Tom cried out, "Hi, why are you hitting me?" Sid broke it. Aunt Polly paused, and Tom looked at her for healing pity. But when she had recovered from surprise, she said, "Well, I'm sure you deserve it. No doubt you were in some mischief while I was in the kitchen." Then her conscience picked her, and she longed to this would be taken as a confession that she had been silent, and went about her housework with a troubled heart. Tom sat gloomily in a corner and nursed his sorrows. He knew through tearful eyes that she glanced tenderly at him now and again, asking for forgiveness. But he refused to take any notice. He imagined himself lying on his deathbed, and his aunt bending over him, begging for one little forgiving word. Bending over him, but he would turn his face to heal well and die without saying that word. Oh, how would she then? And he imagined himself brought home from the river dead with his clothes all wet, and his poor hands still forever, and his broken heart. At last she would throw herself upon him, and her tears would fall like rain. She would pray God to give her back her boy, and promise she would never ill-treat him anymore, but he would lie there, cold and pale, and make no sign. Poor little sufferer! He was so affected by this vision that he had to keep on swallowing. His eyes swam in tears, which overflowed and ran down from the end of his nose. he was enjoying it, his sorrowfulness was unwelcome. When his cousin Mary danced in, delighted to be home again after a week's visit to the country, he got up and moved in cows and dragged Ness out at one door as she brought song and sunshine in at the other. His unhappy heart desired to be alone, and so he wandered far away from the place where boys usually met. A log left on the river invited him. He sat down on its outer edge and gazed at the wide river, wishing that she could be drawn at once without suffering the usual pains. Not long after, as Tom was undressing for bed, Sid woke up. He said nothing. He knew from the expression on Tom's face that it would be unwise to ask him any question. Tom got into bed without saying his prayers, and Sid made a note of this bad behavior.